Exactly. Yeah.
So I was thinking about
Yes.
looking at like what's a different way to explain to a buyer how to get a deal on a house. Like everyone's looking to try to save money and get the best deal and the best interest rate and all that kind of stuff, right? So, what if I asked you?
Yeah.
What if I said, Omar, would you give me $68 per month if I could save you $250 a month?
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and the way that we would do that is by looking at the HOA. You know, the HOA here is $318 per month.
Yeah.
And if you just rolled in a small portion into the mortgage and paid $68 more a month, and then we on the back end paid the HOA for 3 years, then that $250 per month difference,
Yeah.
what could someone do with that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
that's the cool thing. So like that's like an incentive for the builder, but like to get that you have to put more down.
Well, finance it.
Finance it.
So if you finance so let's say that the HOA is $318 per month.
Yeah.
Multiply that by 1 year, it's about $3,600 roughly.
Yeah.
So $11,000.
Yeah.
Let's say you roll that into your mortgage. You're only paying $68 a month more, but then on the flip side, you're not paying that HOA. So now you have $250 per month that you can put elsewhere. Now you can either put it towards your principal payment and make,
save on interest, a ton of it,
a ton on interest.
Yeah, people don't realize how big of a difference just a few $100s to your mortgage payment can do, just principal only.
Right. I was just running a scenario last night as I was sitting in bed going, oh, we need to talk about this.
Are we live running? Are we?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay. All right, very cool. This is good. I was just trying to, this is a nice candid conversation.
Yeah,
But you're right, though, because, when I was a banker, and this is like a common mistake, people would go and they would, say I want $250 towards my mortgage, and they have to specify principal only.
Right.
And a lot of times you could do it on your app now. They make it so easy because, if you just say to your mortgage payment only, they just put it towards your next month's payment. So if your payment is, $2,000 and you pay an extra $500 towards your mortgage, you're just paying in advance for the next month. You don't want to do that.
Right.
You don't want to pay ahead months. You want to pay down principal.
Right.
So that way, even though you pay $500 extra, next month you still got to pay the $2,000, but that extra $500 goes towards the actual amount that's getting interest charged on.
Yeah,
it's huge.
And if you were already planning on spending $318 a month on your HOA, but you can repurpose that money to now go towards your principal mortgage payment. I think the calculation that I looked up last night, just Chat GPT, it was like $30,000 of interest that was saved over a 3-year period.
I got this cool thing, financial calculators, and I'll do this here live.
Okay.
This is pretty cool. It's an app. It's free. And
which app is it?
It's called Financial Calculators. Let me see. Cancel. This is, I don't know if people could see. It's that one right there.
Okay.
Next to my calculator.
Gotcha.
It's hard to see. It's like a little calculator with 2 little gold stacks of money next to it, blue background. Okay. But inside of it, you can have your 401k, retirement, ROI calculator, discount. But there's one with a little house, and it says loan calculator.
Yeah.
That one's pretty cool. There's a compound interest one. So, okay, I'll give an example here. What $500,000 house or $400,000 house here?
Yeah.
Is pretty average.
Sure.
In this community.
$350,000.
Okay, for $350,000. 1 second. $350,000, and the loan amount would be what they put the minimum down.
Yeah, let's say FHA loan. Let's just call it $10,000 down for round numbers.
Got it. So loan would be $340,000.
Right.
Interest rate. What are the interest rate before they buy it down?
I don't know what today's interest rate is.
They're around like 6.9 as of like Friday. So
okay.
We'll say you got a great credit score, so 6.5 interest rate, 30-year. Property tax. I can even put in property tax and everything. But
use $6,000.
insurance is low up because they're brand new built houses, but I'll put $1,000 normally on a.
Yeah, I do like 1,500.
That's on the high side, but okay. I live in one of these new houses, but okay, I get it.
And the drum roll.
Yeah, so like this is calculating it at a 6.5% rate, $6,000 property tax, $1,500, everything escrowed into it. Putting the bare minimum down, just $10,000 on a $350,000 house. The monthly payment, is around $2,700, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you do what you did, right, like you buy down the rate, and you guys are buying down the rate to what, 4.99?
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy right here. We go from $2,774 to $2,448.
Wow.
So $330 just by a month saving just by the builder. That's not you. That's the builder buying down the rate.
Right. Right.
And then what was the other incentive you did as far as putting an extra $250 a month?
Let's just say that now on that, what was that last number? 2,448?
2,448.
Yeah, but that's not including the HOA.
Yeah.
So now they have to add back in the HOA. So now you're back
and
up
utilities,
to about $2,800 a month.
Correct.
But if we can somehow increase the purchase price from that $340, not the purchase price, but the loan amount.
Yeah.
Let's go back up to $350
mm-hmm.
and see what that changes from $2,448.
Everything else the same, right?
Right.
Yeah, it goes from $2,448 to $2,501. So we're talking about $53.
$53 a month to not pay a $300 a month HOA payment.
And so you can see right here. I don't know if they can see this on the camera or it needs to be closer.
Yeah.
Right.
Move it a little closer. Yeah.
Right. So it's $2,501.
Yeah.
And then look at the middle one where it says total interest. Now watch this. Total interest. It says $325,626. So if they can see that, it says $325,626.
Okay.
Now that's total interest out of 30 years. Now there's a spot over here underneath the 30-year term. It says extra payment amount per month.
Yeah.
So watch, I'm going to put $250 extra a month towards principal. What was the interest before? It was $325,000.
The interest?
Yeah. What did we just say? Hold on.
I forgot.
I'll calculate it again. Yeah, $325,626. Okay.
The total interest over the life of the loan.
Amortized over 30 years. Now watch.
Wow.
What 250? So people don't know. Like I'm not playing. $250.
Okay.
Extra payment
towards the principal.
Just so you know, before I hit calculate, total interest in the middle, $325,000. I love this. Check this out. This is insane. Calculate. So it says 200. The principal payment of $250 on top of the $2,500.
Yeah.
Total interest paid $240,000.
Wow. So they just saved $85,000 over the life of the loan by paying an.
What a great calculator! We're not sponsored by them in any way, but it's good to run numbers quickly. $250 a month.
Yeah.
Like an extra, utility bill or a couple nights out from saving from going out on dinner.
Yeah.
Right. It's expensive. You go out 2 times for dinners, you're 100, 125. If you're going out for drinks and whatnot, you just take 2 of those times you go out, apply that towards your interest. Your principal, and you save $85,000.
But here's the kicker. If you're looking at buying in a community with an HOA already, and you're just adding it onto your principal to be amortized in the loan, then you don't even have to cut out your habits. Yeah. Right? Because you were going to pay that $250 per month anyway.
Yeah, correct.
So, and it's a bonus if you don't go out to eat like once or twice a month. Then you can add an additional amount. But imagine if you could just get in the habit of $250 a month for a year or so, then you can keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. People don't realize. And it's the compound effect, right? Just the small amount done every month consistently.
Right.
And by the way, if economy job, this or whatever it may be, and 250, it might be rich for some people, like, and that's understandable, and that's okay.
Right.
You put $100, $150. You saw the power of just what a couple $100 can do, saving on interest, long term. I'm talking about in 30 years.
Yeah.
So if you even if you just put $100 a month towards principal, $150, it goes a long way in the long run. And heck, if 250 is not enough, and you feel like, you know what, this month I got a good commission bonus, I got a good whatever it may be, depending on your job, and you want to put $1,000, $500, you sprinkle in a couple months like that, now you're saving well over 6 figures in interest.
Yeah.
You want to get out the rat race as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
People read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Right.
They talk about the rat race, and I know Dave Ramsey. He's another. He believes he's big in real estate, and even though some people they love or hate him because he doesn't believe in loans, which you could see why, because of the interest. Right. However, it can be a good leverage tool.
Yeah. And the other thing too, for people that have a hard time setting aside the money to actually do that on a consistent basis, just set it up on a direct withdrawal from your bank and put it towards the mortgage, or heck, invest it. I mean, there's a lot that can happen. You're talking about that compounding interest, right?
Yeah, like, big time.
What happens if you were to put $250 or even $100 a month into an investment account and let that grow over 3 years even?
Yeah. And this stuff is easy to find and track. Whether they want to chat GPT it or Google it. Before it felt like you could only get that statistic by calling your financial advisor, and a financial advisor won't talk to you unless you're already invested with them for the most part. However, that's all, with the internet and technology we have, the information we have flowing, it's so easy to get that information to see what the S&P, say something like the S&P 500, which is a simple, and we're not investment advisors, so we're not giving people investment advice. I'm just saying that you could easily track on what it's trending, say the last 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And you could say, okay, well, if I put $1,000, you could do this. You could Google this. You can Google it right now. If I put $1,000 into this fund, S&P 5 or whatever it is, and how much would that be if I just left it alone for 15, 20 years, right? And then, so there's so many ways to put yourself ahead.
Right.
Just the hard part is taking action.
Right. And they talk about make your money work smarter for you. And maybe there's a couple different ways. Put some money towards your mortgage, put some money in an investment account, like see what happens. I don't know. I do both.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see. I don't know. Do you guys pay more on your mortgage every month?
Yeah, I pay more on my mortgage. I also got a couple rental properties, and so, and I do have an investment advisor. I do have IRAs, so I have that going for me too. I used to do it myself for a while.
Yeah.
It's just with things going on, it's just easier to say, hey, I don't even want to think about it. And I want to be more aggressive. I am more aggressive, right?
Yeah.
The goal is to always beat. If the S&P 500 is the marker, you always want to outperform it. And most good advisors can outperform the S&P 500. Pretty easily. From my experience with talking and seeing with advisors, so that's what I do. But there's so many different things you can do. There's we talk about S&P 500. There's a guy I follow on YouTube. His name is Alex Hormozi, and Alex Hormozi, he said something a couple years ago that resonated with me, and he said invest in the S&Me 500. Basically it was about there is no better investment. The highest return is if you invest into yourself. But you have to believe what you're doing. You have to have a goal. You have to have a clear direction that you want to take your business. And don't be afraid to put in dollars to get you the education, the knowledge, the mentor, the whatever it may be, to get you ahead of the game. So that was impactful for me. I ended up getting a mentor and a coach and doing a couple things just because of that quick little line, and I believed it so much, and it's helped. Yeah. Cool. So that's another way you can invest in yourself.
Well, for someone though that just has a job and is
just over broke. No.
Oh, just over broke.
No, it's a joke. Just a joke.